Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is going to be some recent pickups from CEX and HMV. Now what I did was the other day was I went to the CEX in Kermit, which I don't normally go to, and I've got to say the CEX there had a lot of 4Ks in and they all had slips on apart from a couple, and I was amazed actually because, as you know, CEX is very patchy when it comes to having slips on 4Ks. But first I saw this one. Sometimes in CEX you get these prices that are like quite reasonable. Other ones are really like a crazy price for something you think, hang on a minute, that's much cheaper elsewhere. But for £5 I got the Criterion of The Sword of Doom. Now this is a 1966 samurai movie with spine number 280, and this movie comes with a booklet as well. So yeah, so £5, you can't go wrong. And these ones, I'm a big fan of them, and I know that when these are done by Criterion, they're done in a really excellent presentation. Now I'll put this on just to have a look at it, and yeah, it's in black and white, and it looks absolutely stunning. And these movies, I don't know what it is about them, they're just so watchable. These samurai sword movies, got a lot of time for them. There's not that many special features on this one, unfortunately. Region B locked as well. I'm a big fan of these movies. So that's The Sword of Doom. So next up is a movie that I hear a lot of people talking about, but I've never actually seen it, although it's been out quite a while. So for £10 I got V for Vendetta with a slip. Now if I'm honest, I hardly ever see this with a slip. In fact, I don't even think I've seen the slip. I know there's a special edition out there before, but I haven't got that one. Like I say, I haven't seen this movie. So I put it on. It's got Dolby Atmos as well. I put it on and the picture quality in here is very nice. It's one of those ones where the colours are really the star of the show. A lot of people do speak very highly of this movie, so for that reason that's why I want to check this out, and I was happy to get this in this condition with a slip. So that's V for Vendetta. So next up on 4K for £8 I got The House with a Clock in Its Walls. The reason why I'm looking at that is because I've tried lots of times to say this out and it just will not work, so I've had to read it. What a strange title it is. Now this is the one that's always intrigued us because it's made by Eli Roth, and you'd always think of Eli Roth not doing anything like this, so that was interesting to me off the bat. Now I've seen this loads of times without a slipcover, so I just didn't really pay much attention to it, but when I saw it there with a great slipcover, it's got some embossing there as well. So funny enough, I'm not the biggest fan of Eli Roth's movies, although I do think he's an interesting bloke and he's got a great knowledge of horror. But this one would have been somewhat different. I thought, well, I'll give it a shot and see what he's like doing a movie that's completely different or completely out of his comfort zone. So I checked some scenes of the movie out, and I've got to say the picture on here is ultra sharp. It's one of those really crispy 4Ks. I thought it would be for some reason. Now the colour palette they use on here is very muted. I think it's like a beige, like a brownie sort of palette. And that suits the movie, if I'm honest, and the black levels on here are really good because most of the movie takes place in this house at night, or in darkened areas. While you're not seeing the brightest of colours, you're seeing some great black levels on here. So that's The House with a Clock in Its Walls. Next I went across to CEX Newcastle, and on 4K for £5 I got The Commuter without a slip, but thanks to my good friend Gary Watson, who sent me up some slips, box full of slips, I can now go and complete this release. Wow. So thanks once again, Gary, for that, as these slips are absolutely stunning. Gary has sent me up these ones, lovely in Boston there, mint condition. So when I see them, especially for £5, I thought I've got to get it. So I put this on just to see what it was like, and I've got to say the quality on here is stunning. It's one of those ones where it just lends very well to the 4K. I would imagine the Blu Ray would look quite nice as well. And to be honest, I didn't really know it starred Vera Farmiga as well, if that's the way you say her name, who I'm a big fan of. So yeah, so I think that me and the Debs will get into that. There's not many extras on here, but for £5 on 4K, you can't see, you can't grumble about that. So big shout out to Gary Watson, and that's The Commuter. This next movie is the one I've been after for quite a while. On 4K for £10 I got John Wick 2 with a lovely slip. Now I've got the other ones, I've got 1 and 3, which I think they're all brilliant. Can't wait for part 4 to come out. I think the fact that it's got Donnie Yen as the bad guy in it, it's just going to be out of this world. Big fan of Donnie Yen, as you know, Mr. Ripman. And I love these movies, I think they're just so watchable. I do think that number 3 for me is my favourite one out there. I think I'll get the most out of it. It's just so brutal and fast paced, it's ridiculous. It's also got Dolby Atmos on here. And I put this on, and I've got to say, I think that 3 is the best 4K of this set thus far. 2 was good, and it's got them sort of neon lights, this neon colours. That's when this movie sort of comes to life. Also, as well, the night scenes in here with some water on the roads, they're really, really good, as the other ones do. But I just knew I had to get this one. After getting, I think the third one was the first one I got in 4K, and would watch the first 2 on Blu Ray, which we enjoyed. But when I saw the third one on 4K, I thought, no, these have got to be upgraded. So really happy to get that one, especially with the slip, because you don't see the slip around that much. So that's John Wick 2. Next I went across to HMV, and for £20, which I think is probably the deal of the century, I got The War of the Worlds with the bonus movie, When Worlds Collide. Now, I've made a video about this, and I'll leave the video down below if you want to hear my sort of in-depth thoughts to a certain extent on this movie. But the short story is that this movie, it is on 4K, although it doesn't look it, but it is a 4K, is absolutely sensational. It's one of the best presentations I've ever seen of a Technicolor movie. It's just out of sight, pardon the pun. It's got Dolby audio on here, it's got Dolby Vision, it's got everything. This was one of the ones, for me, it came out very much under the radar. I just walked past and I went, what's that doing there? The reason why I looked at it, actually, wasn't because of the fact of what it was. It was the fact that I thought someone had misput a Blu-ray in the 4K sort of pile. But obviously it wasn't. It is a 4K. And the 4K on here is absolutely stunning. But like I say, if you haven't watched that video, check the video down below and you'll see me sort of analysis of it. But on a side note, this movie is brilliant. And this movie here is equally as good. I had such a good time in this movie. Never seen it before, but it's a different spin on a sci-fi movie. Now this is from 1953 and this is from 1951. So this movie precedes this one, and I think it's produced by the same fella, George Pal, I think he's called. And it's got a load of I've watched all the extras on here, apart from the hour long. The Mercury Theatre on Air presents the Mercury Theatre on Air presents the War of the Worlds radio broadcast with Orson Welles. That's about an hour long. That'll be really, really fun watch. To imagine that everyone thought that was real at the time. So highly, highly, highly recommended this movie. That's the 4K of the War of the Worlds. Next up, I went across to the 2 for £24 sale on 4Ks, and I picked up the Equalizer. Now I have got this on Blu-ray, but what I wanted to do was, because I'd heard that the Blu-rays were cut and the 4Ks aren't cut, so I thought I'm going to have to get this on 4K because I'm really intrigued about this movie. Really want to watch it, like quite a lot. I want to get Deborah to watch them with us as well, because I think she's a big fan of these type of movies. But I think she's seen this one. I'm not too sure about the second one. So yeah, so I put this one on. I know that the Blu-ray looked really nice, but this looks exceptional. It's one of those ones where you'd look at it and you think everything about it is crystal clear. The colours, actually, I wasn't expecting the colours to be as good as they are. It's a very colourful movie. A lot happens at night time as well, which is great because you get this whole, the black levels are just, really amazing. So I was expecting this one to look good, don't get us wrong, but this one looked much better than I thought it was going to be. So in this 2 for £24 sale, if you think of one to get for your 4K system that's going to show it off, this is definitely one of them. So that's the Equalizer. So because I've got to get another one in the 2 for £24 sale, what do you think I got? Yep, I got the Equalizer 2. Now I put this on. I haven't seen this one at all, although I've seen the Blu-ray for that one, but I haven't seen the films at all. Really want to watch these ones. Are high up on the list for me. Now I put this one on and I thought, if it's as good as that one, I'll be more than happy. Well, of course, when I put it on, this looks much better than that one. I couldn't believe how good this one was. After thinking, well, that's probably the top of this pile. But this one's even better. It's just so crystal clear. The sort of detail on people's faces, the colours, everything. It seems like it takes place outside a lot more. It's not really at night, but the bits I checked out weren't. And wow, it's just another one that you've got Dolby Atmos on here as well. You've got Dolby Atmos on here. Yes, you have. So picture quality on these two is just absolutely amazing. Plus they're uncut as well. So that's the Equalizer and the Equalizer 2. So the other day I was watching Kermit's Ghost's latest video, linked to his channel down below. And on that video, Alan was going around the shops, and I noticed that this 4K had a cover on it. Now I didn't think that the slipcover was on the 4K in the UK, so I was literally going to buy the American one. So I want to thank Alan again for putting that on his video and saved me a bit of money. So for £20 I picked up Blue Hawaii.
Where's me ladders?
Yeah, this is the VHS, the Channel 5 VHS from 1986. I wonder if Channel 5 VHS sued Channel 5, the TV station, to say, hang on a minute, we invented that. So there you go. So I thought I had the DVD, but I haven't. We've given that to Deborah's mum. And yeah, it's in great nick, this actually. So the DVD, I was going to compare the DVD to this 4K. Now, this I can't compare. Well, I can look at this one, but it wouldn't be fair to sort of compare this one. I don't even know if this is in widescreen actually, if I'm honest. And yeah, so I just wanted to show you that because I thought, after all this time, this is going to make an appearance on my channel. So yes, I picked up the 4K of Blue Hawaii. Now, the thing I'll say about it is, it hasn't got many extras on at all. It's got these photographs on, which is about 5 minutes long, and it's all right. I mean, it was quite good actually. The photographs I've got, they're all in black and white. But this is my favourite Elvis Presley film. He made some good films. He made some bad films, and I don't think that was too much down to him. I think that was down to his best friend, Colonel Tom Parker. Now, this movie was made in 1961, and unfortunately for him, that this movie was such a big hit, I think Colonel Tom Parker said, well, why don't we just make another million of those, Elvis? And I know Elvis didn't want to do that, and he was kind of roped into it, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, his sort of career in films just took a bit of a nosedive. He has made some good movies after this, but they were kind of all in this ilk, which I think he was, before this movie, they were all kind of a little bit different in a certain way, and he was really trying to act when he did it. So it's got Dolby Audio on here, which is 5.1, and it's got a nice soundtrack on here. Like I say, the previous DVD had a lot of dirt on it, a lot of scratches, and it wasn't the best looking DVD. I was quite disappointed by it when I first saw it, and I thought, what's all this about? Because this movie has always looked bright and vibrant. So anyway, when this came out, I thought I would have bought it on Blu Ray. The Blu Ray is actually in here. I'll talk about that in a minute. And so I just knew I had to get this one. So I got this one, and it's in the best condition you will ever see, Blue Hawaii. It looks beautiful. Now, I was thinking it was going to give War of the Worlds a bit of a run for its money, but War of the Worlds is by far the best movie. This one's brilliant, don't get us wrong. I thought it would be up there with that one, but it's not as good quality. That's not taking anything away from it. It's the best it's ever gone. It's the best it's ever going to look, if I'm honest. And it's, for me, in here, it's the colours. The colours are the star. This movie is just, that's what the movie looks like. Blue skies all the time. Hardly any sort of nighttime shots. And plenty of songs, plenty of classic songs on here. It's, for me, it is my favourite one because it's got everything in that I like. It's got brilliant songs, it's got a bit of humour in, it's got a great setting. When I flicked through this movie, I was quite taken aback by how young Elvis looked. And when I looked into it, he was only 26 when he shot this movie. Now, my son is 26 at this moment. And when he hasn't got a beard, he does look quite young as well. But that was sort of quite revealing to me, the fact that he was a young man, wasn't he? Obviously. And it's just got, for me, it's got everything that you could want from an Elvis film. And the picture quality on it is, like I say, the colours are the star. It's very sharp. I don't think there's been any DNR on it. It doesn't appear to have any DNR on it. There is it's got more grain than More of the Worlds, and the grain in it is good. It's not noisy at all. It's quite, like I say, it's there, but it's not in your face. So it's really good all the way around. And I think anybody who's a fan of this movie, and I'm happy to pay that good price for £20. I think it would have been good with a good special edition, but maybe a soundtrack and all that. But it doesn't seem like they want to do that much stuff with Elvis stuff, which is crazy because Elvis stuff always sells, doesn't it? Now, I put the Blu-ray in because I haven't got the Blu-ray. I don't think there was ever a Blu-ray before this one's been released, and there's a Blu-ray, separate Blu-ray as well. Now, if I thought the 4K looked really nice, and I thought this is absolutely, the best it's ever going to look. So I put the Blu-ray on, and I'll tell you what, if you are going to get the Blu-ray is practically nearly as good as a 4K. It looks stunning. It's one of the best Blu-rays I've ever seen. So if you're sitting on the fence whether or not to get this on 4K or Blu-ray, the Blu-ray, if I'd put the Blu-ray on by mistake and looked at it, I wouldn't have had much of a complaint about it. The 4K has got, the picture is sharper, it is more colourful, but not by a vast amount. They've done an amazing restoration on here, and it just shows you what Blu-rays can sort of show off when they're done right. So yeah, it's funny that me saying don't get the 4K. I'm not saying don't get the 4K. You will get a bit of an upgrade, but it's a very slight upgrade. So just but then again, this is only, the 4K is only £4 more than the Blu-ray at this point. So well, anyway, it's up to you to take your choice, and that's my view on that anyway. That you might not want to upgrade this one if you think that, but I'm happy to have this because I haven't got this in any other format apart from this, which I don't think the quality on that will match. So anyway, so thanks for watching, you take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.